Alright, time to talk about something positive because after that America versus Belgium game, que clase de juego is that? That was horrendous. That was not the same team we've been playing for the past, I don't know, month and a half against Bosnia and whatever other teams we went against. So yeah, let's talk about Independence Day, something that actually celebrates and is actually patriotic. Something that apparently the American team can't do anymore. Go on. Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again. I'm an actor and filmmaker based out of South Florida, and for this video, I'm going to be doing a review for Independence Day. Let's go. So yeah, for those who don't know, we're on July 6th. Again, we just saw one of the worst soccer games ever, so I want to actually distract my mind and talk about something positive. To go alongside with that, Independence Day was released 30 years ago on September 3rd, 1996. So, anniversary review, and honestly, pretty good time to review this movie because we just passed the 4th. And again, we'll talk about something positive because ese juego no me jodas. I don't know what the hell that was about. But yeah, let's get on to this review. So this is actually a really great movie, and I actually forgot how great this movie is. The first time I saw this movie, I've only seen this twice. Like maybe 10-ish years ago, between like 8 and 10 years ago, and 2 or 3 nights ago at this point. So that's basically my extent of Independence Day knowledge watching movies. And I haven't seen the sequel, Resurgence. I heard it was bad. I'll probably watch it eventually, but as of now, still haven't seen it. And yeah, I just forgot. I'm not sure if I forgot or I just didn't realize how fun this movie was. It's better said because I'm pretty sure the first time I saw Independence Day, again, it was about 8 to 10 years ago. I want to say between 2015, 2016, and 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. And that was during a period of time where I would just watch a bunch of films just to say that I watched them. I know I watched other movies like that, like Indiana Jones, the first Rocky, for example. Like, I know I watched those movies, Back to the Future. I know I watched those movies just to say that I watched them, but I didn't really, not to say I didn't enjoy them, I'm sure I did enjoy them, but it's one of those things that I was kind of just checking something off the list, checking movies off of the list, and I really wasn't appreciating them, I guess is the best way to word it. So, it's one of those things that, when I put this movie on, I was actually thinking, like, am I still going to enjoy this? Like, I know I've seen some of the famous scenes, like the destruction of New York, the destruction of Washington, D.C., this and the other, but, like, does this movie hold up? Because that's, aside from, like, the real big scenes with special effects, I'm back at the very end, I didn't really remember much about this movie, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I knew Will Smith was in it. I know this is the thing that basically broke him into a movie star during that time, like this and Wild Wild West, which, although it flopped, still helped him get to that movie stardom, especially after Fresh Prince. I'm pretty sure Fresh Prince would have ended by this point, give or take 97, 98, I would assume. So, this is during his movie star era. So I think Men in Black was also probably around that time as well. I'm pretty sure this is the one that really broke him out, so to speak, of that TV star to movie star, if you catch my drift. And honestly, I very, very much enjoyed this. I was smiling the whole way through watching this movie. It was such a fun movie, and it really does go on to show, like, how this is one of those pinnacle 90s movies, one of those pinnacle 90s action, 90s sci-fi movies of its time. The only negative I would actually say, if I'm being completely honest, there's only really one true negative I would say, and that's during the first half of the movie. I do find it to just be a bit tonally inconsistent, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like we go from these very serious, dramatic, almost thriller-like scenes of the government, of the President Whitmore and his cabinet, trying to figure out what's going on with all these messages, what's going on with all these aliens, basically, so to speak. Same thing with David, Jeff Goldblum's character, which was such a great, he was so great in this movie as well. Again, one of the sexiest men alive, especially during that time, of course. Like, I know Jurassic Park, that's another movie I should probably rewatch, because that's probably something I watched 10 years ago and didn't really truly appreciate it. So that's another movie I should probably add to the list and rewatch to truly appreciate it, but neither here nor there. But, I know Jurassic Park was also around this time as well. I think, like, 5 years beforehand. But, like, he was already sexy Jeff Goldblum by this point, and I almost would say he's kind of on the pinnacle of sexy Goldblum. I know a lot of people want to say Jurassic Park, and in all fairness, I would need to rewatch Jurassic Park to give you a full opinion on that. But here, he was pretty sexy. I'm just saying that. Sexy Goldblum. Always a revelation, not gonna lie. I'm straight, but hey, I'll admit, he's sexy. So it's great. But, like, I'm more to the point to my one negative of it being totally consistent. Again, you have sexy Goldblum talking to his friend, his coworker. I forget his name right now, but I know it's Harvey Feinstein, not Weinstein. Feinstein, or is it Feinstein, Firestein, whatever, like that guy. He's talking to his friend. He's like, hey man, call your mom, call your dad, whoever you need to call, and warn them, tell them to get out of the city, call whoever you need to go, and just, you get out of the city, please get out of the city. Like, those conversations again with President Whitmore, who's probably one of the most charismatic. Bill Paxton just playing one of the most charismatic presidents we've had on screen, point blank and period. Honestly, I mean, we'll get to the speech later. One of the most inspiring speeches, one of the top 10 best speeches of all time for a movie. But we're going through between these guys essentially, not in the cabinet and the politics of it all, and then all of a sudden we switch to Will Smith, and he's kind of just joking around initially and like waking up with his kid and his girlfriend. He's waking up and not realizing that he's thinking that this is just an earthquake when no, it's an alien invasion. Likewise, we have Rob Schneider and his family. Right, not Rob Schneider, sorry, Randy Quaid and his family, and he's just crop dusting. That's what crop dusting. The field's the wrong field apparently because he's a drunk. It's weird because in a lot of sense, I know this is Roland Emmerich. Don't get me wrong. I know this is Roland Emmerich, but in a lot of ways, those initial scenes kind of almost felt Spielbergian, like Steve Spielbergian or Steven Spielberg. Yeah, Spielbergian. I know Hitchcockian's a word. I know. So like I guess Spielbergian will be the next thing. Like it felt very Spielberg like, especially in some of those lighter scenes. It's like you have that amazement, that kind of sense of wonder, so to speak. That I guess Hook will be around the same. So to give a comparison, something like Hook, for example, when Robin Williams is like first flying for first time, for example, like you have that sense of wonder, and it just felt very tonally consistent. But I do feel like the tone did shape up, did finally coalesce in the appropriate manner towards the second act and then third act. Of course, going into the third act, I thought was just great. And yeah, I will say this is probably one of the ultimate action sci-fi movies. I wouldn't say it's the ultimate. I mean, you have Star Wars, you have Aliens, of course. Like you have a bunch of like legendary action adventure, action sci-fi movies that has to compete with. Don't get me wrong, but I would put this on the list. Like it would definitely be top 10. It would have to be top 10. I can't imagine it not being top 10. I don't know about top 5. I generally don't know about top 5, but definitely top 10. But I mean, this was just such an amazing movie, and I really did come to appreciate this movie this second go around, watching it again, and I just absolutely love this movie. Like this quickly became one of my favorite 90s movies, one of my favorite action sci-fi movies. I'm not sure if I would call this one of my favorite all-time favorite movies. I'm not sure if I would go that far, honestly. Like it's probably like bordering there. I would probably need to watch it a few more times to like get it to that place, so to speak. But this was just such an amazing movie, such a great movie all around. Like again, going back to the actors, Will Smith, of course. I mean, this was his breakout role. Jeff Goldblum, this was another he was already broken out with The Fly, and Jurassic Park. But again, another great movie in his repertoire. But like, talk about Bill Paxton, Randy Quaid, for example. Like they were just amazing. Like again, President Whitmore just giving one of the most all-time inspiring speeches in movie history. Like it really does stand right there. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's as great as a speech in The Great Dictator by Charlie Chaplin, for example. I wouldn't go that high, but when it comes to speeches, this is one of the most inspiring speeches of all time, especially because Independence Day, and I'm watching this during Independence Day, the actual July 4th Independence Day that we have. It's just amazing because it makes you want to be inspired by all this stuff, by believing that we can defeat the aliens, which we inevitably do, of course. And it's just like, this is a day that will be remembered, essentially. Like, this is not just 4th of July for us. This is 4th of July for everybody. This is the day that the nation, the world gets its freedom. It's just so inspiring, so amazing. And talking about Randy Quaid for a bit, I mean, I thought it was great. Like, having this drunk Vietnam War vet who was taken by aliens in the past, which a lot of people think he's crazy for believing that. They make fun of him for that fact. Even his children, to a certain extent, make fun of him and don't believe him for that fact. But him actually stepping up, and it's one of those things where he's not necessarily stepping up as a father, if we're being honest. Like yes, he's trying to make sure that his children are safe. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's one of those things like he almost came to that conclusion by circumstances, because they were going to leave the trailer park and he just happened to come up at the right time. Had he been like 5 minutes late, they would have left without him, straight up. But it's one of those things that, because he was put in this position almost unwanted, that he kind of did have to step up. And really, I would say it's him sacrificing for himself, wanting to go out to war against the aliens. And that's where he really stepped up, truly, because he could have just sat by the sidelines and not done that, honestly speaking. But I would say when he truly stepped up was when he decided to fight the aliens, is what I would say. But even to that, again, Will Smith, Randy Quaid, Paxton, and Goldblum, they gave amazing performances, don't get me wrong, but I would say even the ensemble cast. Like I feel like everybody across the board across the cast was great. Vivica Fox, right? That who portrayed his girlfriend, Will Smith's girlfriend. She was great. I don't remember the actress right now, the name of the actress, but like the guys on his cabinet, the one sniffing weasel, which like, bro, shut up. Like, why did you not, like, for real? Paxton called it out. The president called it out. Why did you not tell me about Area 51 earlier? You knew this, and we did nothing. Like, what the hell, you know? The scientist with the long hair, who kind of reminds me of a teacher I had, honestly. But you know, he was great. Like the David's wife, Goldblum's wife in this movie, she was great. Like, I would say the ensemble cast in general was great. Even Randy Quaid's children, even Will Smith's child, even the daughter of President Whitmore. That scene where after the mother dies, spoilers, but after the mother dies, you know, she just goes like, oh, she's asleep, right? Like, she of course knows the implication. She could read between the lines. Oh, that's Mae Whitman. I know that much. That's Mae Whitman. Performances across the board is great, and I think that's something that not many people talk about. Honestly, like, not that I recall, past Will Smith, Quaid, Goldblum, and Paxton. I feel like many people, when they talk about this movie, they ignore the supporting cast, which I think across the board it's incredible. I do think this is one of the best casts ever ensembled for a film like this. To go along with that, of course, we have to talk about the special effects. I mean, the special effects are amazing. What else do I need to say? Like, from how the aliens looked, to the spaceships, to the mothership, to the destruction of the cities, all of it's great. Like, that's what this movie is remembered for. It's just amazing. The one thing I have, and it's not really a criticism, it's more of a wonderment, and I guess if you were alive during this time, please tell me how this affected you. But this is something I was wondering throughout the whole movie, especially after the attacks on Earth happened, when the Empire State and the White House were blown up. My question was, I wonder how this movie was received in a post 9/11 world. You know, like, and I mean immediately after 9/11, because, like, I mean, technically we're still in a post 9/11 world. You know, anything after 9/11, no matter how many years, how many decades, how many centuries it is, it's always going to be post 9/11. You know, like, even up until this day, it's post World War II, post World War I, for example. It's post Revolutionary War. So, you know what I mean? I wonder how, like, let's say those first 5 years after 9/11, so let's say up until 2006, I really wonder how this movie was taken. There are aspects of this movie that are almost shot like a horror film. I'll be honest with you, such as when, I forget what the scientist's name is, but the guy with the long hair, where, like, him and his crew are killed. You know, I think his crew is killed. I think the guy with the long hair actually comes back in the sequel for some reason, from what I understand, but neither here nor there. But when him and his whole team are killed, you know, like, that's very scary. To a certain extent, them, Will Smith and Goldblum, inside the mothership and trying to escape, that's a little bit scary, I'll be honest with you. But it's one of those things where, I'm not saying the destruction of the cities are not scary, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure there was an element of scare there regardless, but it's one of those things where I feel in a post 9/11 world, I just have to imagine, especially because one of the buildings that was destroyed was the Empire State Building. Granted, it's not the Twin Towers thing, but still, pretty big and iconic building in New York. And again, in New York, and on top of that, the White House was destroyed. Again, 9/11, they planned to attack the White House. Supposedly it was either the White House or Congress, the Congress building. You know, it's one of those things. I wonder how this was taken in a post 9/11 world, like immediately after 9/11, because I have to imagine, like, those scenes are a lot more horrific because we know how 9/11 was. You know, I almost have to wonder how this movie was taken in a post 9/11 world. Like, that's something I genuinely do wonder. Like, I genuinely do wonder, and if anybody wants to respond to that, go ahead, comment down below, because for me, I mean, I was born in 99. This movie came out, again, 96. First time I saw this movie was 10 years ago, and I barely remembered it, you know? And it's one of those things that I really do very much wonder how this was taken, because, I mean, 96 to 2001, that's 5 years, you know? You know, that alone is 5 years. So that's something I genuinely do wonder, and I wonder what other people's thoughts are on that is, because, like, for me, the destruction of the cities, there's always an element of amazement. Not just because of the technical craft, but it's like, oh, wow, this is going down, you know? But again, in a post 9/11 world, like, where we were attacked, you know? Where the Twin Towers fell, where the Pentagon fell, where the White House and or Congress were about to fall, you know? Like, how was this taken? I guess is my question. I don't know, maybe that's something I should research, because I really do have a lot of questions in regards to that. Because I would say, of anything else, that's maybe the most scariest aspect of the film. Whereas, I think, I would assume, beforehand, yeah, it was so scary, but it was more of a thrill, if that makes sense. It was more thriller, more like popcorn action stuff. But like for me now, I'm seeing that's a horror film. Like those segments, they're horrific. They are horrific. But yeah, I mean, overall, this was such an amazing movie. Again, the one negative I would say is the fact that it was a bit tonally inconsistent in the beginning, but like everything else, like the sacrifice, Brandon Quaid sacrificing, I'm back, like that was amazing, and his son gaining respect, Miguel gaining respect for his father, or I think his adopted father or stepfather, whatever it is, but you know, him gaining respect for his father at the end was like, because they were at odds the whole time, and it's just amazing, you know. It's Adam Baldwin's also in this movie. He's one of the soldiers. I remember that, and then I think Miguel. That's what James Duval, right? I think that's the name of the actor. I mean, overall, I mean, such an amazing cast, such an amazing movie. Like, and something that truly does baffle me because I was actually surprised because a lot of people love this movie. Every time I talk about Independence Day, every time that I hear somebody mention Independence Day, they're like, it's such a fun movie. You know, it's one of the best movies of the '90s. This and the other. And something that amazed me, which I was not expecting this at all, because I have a letterbox. Subscribe to my letterbox. Link down below, I think. You know, and if not, I'll put it there. Regardless, one of the things that amazed me is like I would have thought that this movie would have a bunch of great reviews, and on average the score would be about 4 to 4.5, let's say. But no, this movie on Letterboxd is at 3.3. And I'm looking at the reviews, and there's a lot of negative reviews. And granted, I'm sure there's also a lot of positive reviews. Don't get me wrong, but like the negative reviews are like, did we watch the same movie? Like, did we legitimately watch the same movie? You know, it's one of those things. Like, usually when even a movie I absolutely love, when I see a negative review, sometimes the reviews make sense. You know, sometimes I will have that expression of, did we watch the same movie? But sometimes they'll bring up criticisms that maybe that don't bother me as much as other people, or they'll bring stuff out that like, hey, this is why I didn't like the movie, and even though I disagree with them, I at least understand. This movie, I don't understand why people don't like it. Like, again, if you don't like this movie, so be it. I'm not here to be judge, jury, and executioner on that regard. But it's like, for me, like, seeing those reviews, like, did we watch the same movie? You know, it's like, I'm not saying you have to give it a 5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5, you know? But it's like, really, and the ratings were super low. Again, the average is 3.3. So that's one of the things that just very much confused me. I'm not gonna lie, it very much confused me. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is such amazing movie. This is such an amazing movie. I absolutely loved it, and yeah, I think this is gonna be a staple every 4th of July. I'm just gonna pop in Independence Day and sit back, relax, enjoy. Viva America! Let's go USA, and screw the aliens. Yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart, signing off.